and we start with that game at the weekend. Saints wasted a string of chances and then conceded a 90th minute goal to draw 1-1 with Middlesbrough on what was a not so Good Friday. I mean, Alfie, it feels like we've seen it all before, haven't we? It's quite predictable, that inability to shut a side out, and then it comes back to haunt us.
Yeah, very similar to the Rotherham game, I suppose, in that regard, all that time ago. I said at full time, my sort of summary was that it was criminal but predictable. It was criminal, in my opinion. I thought for 75% of the game and in 75% of the pitch, I thought they were quite good. There was that 15 minutes before the second half where it was way too slow. It was really pedestrian. I think you sort of see the impact of maybe having some time away and some fitness problems. But quite simply, they're not good enough in both boxes at the moment. It's 5 league games in a row. They haven't been good enough in their own box. 2 before West Brom as well, if you take out that clean sheet. And I was having a look today and just having a look at previous seasons, the previous records, and I think 8 of the last 11 playoff finals have been won by keeping a clean sheet. And at the moment, something's going to have to change if Southampton want to be that team that's going to do that. And I'm sure we'll delve deeper into the other end of the pitch, but it's genuinely harder to miss that second Jay Adams chance than it is to score it. The one-on-one, he's not going to score the one-on-one anyway, so you sort of put that to the back of your mind. But the open goal from 6 yards, you just have to put away. But it's not only him. Adam Armstrong had a couple of chances in the box. Kamaldeen Suleiman and Will Smallbone, they both sort of fired over a couple that were a little bit speculative. But yeah, it's another 2 points dropped. On a day where they could have made up some ground as well, because only Ipswich actually won their game as well. They've not been great after all 4 international breaks now. Maybe they lose a bit of flow. They did have a few problems, as I said. Jan Bednarek, David Brooks, not quite fit enough to start. But yeah, overall, a decent performance, but ultimately you're going to be disappointed because they've just not done enough.
It felt, Glenn, I mean, you were saying on your social media beforehand that you got to the game just as that other result came in and you thought, well, this is here for the taking. And then you were kind of like half joking that watch us go and balls this up. And then lo and behold, we kind of did.
Yeah, I've been here before. I've been here a long time. And you could kind of see it coming, but not in the first half. I mean, we started the game well, got the goal. Which was down to a defensive mistake. I mean, what Johnny Howson was doing, smashing that ball up in the air. But having said that, it was I've criticised Adam Armstrong for his touch before. That was a really good touch to bring the ball down. It's a lovely finish. Back at probably about the only place in the goal where he could have put it and scored. And that was an excellent start. But and we looked like we were going to score a second goal. Adam Armstrong put one over, but then, as everyone has noticed, the rest of the first half was just it was fall asleep football, wasn't it? They were happy to sit in their shape, and we just didn't do anything to stretch the defence at all. Middlesbrough had obviously decided to set out their stall till half time and only be 1 goal down, and then have another go in the second half. But I thought they were terrible, to be honest. I thought they were sort of lacking in ambition, and there really wasn't much about Middlesbrough at all. And that's why I think that obviously they're not as bad as Rotherham. But as Alfie said, this result was up there with that, and it was terrible, and it was all our own fault. And when all the chances got missed, you kind of knew that it was the least surprising thing in the world when I can't even pronounce his name, Latte Lath, whatever his name is, when he scored, when he scored that goal. It's just like went down the wing. Here it comes. Oh, there he is. What a surprise! And it was shocking. I don't know what Russell Martin was doing with the substitutions throughout the game. It was bizarre. It's bizarre to me that Joe Rothwell didn't come on, bearing in mind his record of scoring goals. He said in his interview about the lack of legs caused by the international break and stuff like that. But we made the last 2 substitutions in the 91st minute. So, I mean, Stuart Armstrong was blowing out of his backside after 70 minutes and stayed on the pitch. It was I just have a feeling there was too much thinking about Monday's game and not enough thinking about the game that was, that was being played. So, Russell Martin, I want to be really annoyed and I want to keep hold of my anger. And then you see his interview, and he actually points out all the things that we all point out. Things we didn't do well. I mean, the equalising goal, there's 3 of our players over there who could block the cross, and they all take a step backwards and let him cross it. And I think it's Walker Peters has totally lost his man in the middle. And, he points out all those things. He pointed out the bad end to the first half. And it's just frustrating that they can see it happening. And, not do anything about it. But the lack of substitutions was a bit of a mystery to me. The defensive setup, it seemed at times we were trying to play three at the back and push Walker-Peters forward, and it was kind of this hybrid thing that we're not good enough to play. We don't have the players to play it. It just, we're not good enough to play like that. We're not Man City. We can't do it. And I felt like it was trying to be overcomplicated, and we seem to chop from that to a flat back four at various points in the game. And there was that horrible bit at the start of the second half where Walker-Peters got caught miles forward, and they attacked with the whole left side of the pitch to run into. So there were certainly things that were not right with that performance and the way we set up, and it did feel like a defeat, and and whatever they say about it, not causing any damage, it does. This was one of the more winnable games that we've got, and I was thinking we had to get 25 points out of 30, and now we've probably got to get 25 points out of 27. It's just it's going to be very difficult from here on in for us to get involved in the top two.
I mean, Steve, it was never going to be easy at this stage of the season, but you think with Leicester and then Leeds also dropping some points, we've just got no one else to blame apart from ourselves, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, isn't it, that every time one of these sides has kind of shown a bit of weakness, nobody else has really been able to grasp the metal and sort of pull away. Leeds' record this calendar year has been extraordinary, and yet they never really looked any good on Friday night. I didn't think at Watford. Watford, who have been rubbish most of the season, kind of held them at arm's length, really, I thought. And they'll probably be annoyed that they didn't hold on for the win in the same way that we didn't. But yeah, we've been saying obviously all the way through that we could only kind of deal with what we can do. We can only kind of concentrate on our own games, but it's only natural to kind of have a little glance over and see what the competition are doing. And I mean, that Leicester side is not going up, as far as I can see it. The way they're playing, they just look. It feels as if they've been going through the motions for like 4 months. It's mad, and yet we've not quite been able to kind of pick it up and run with it. Even that 25 game unbeaten run. There was that kind of middly period just before Christmas where we drew a lot of games, especially away from home. And I think ultimately it's not actually going to be the games that we've lost that are going to cost us automatic promotion. It's going to be the draws, the ones where we've led and looked completely dominant, and then somehow something's happened late in the game. So Rotherham, Middlesbrough yesterday, of course, Watford. Try to think of others now. Norwich away, where we were so Huddersfield, of course. Yeah. Games where we were so dominant, and all it needed was one more, and that shouldn't have been too much to ask. I mean, some of those games we didn't actually create that many chances, so okay, it happens. But yesterday we created more than enough to win that game 3 or 4-0. And Middlesbrough would have had no complaints. Their fans would have walked away pretty annoyed that they've basically not turned up, other than like a 5-minute spell in the middle of the first half where they had that chance where they hit the post from distance. And yeah, it's frustrating that we've got a centre forward with Premier League experience and into double figures this season who can't score with as good, kind of almost as close to an open goal as you could possibly get, and as much time as you could ever wish for from 6 yards out, and he somehow shanked it wide. And yeah, I mean, as Glenn said, like with the 1-on-1, you're always automatically slightly less confident with players at this level anyway. I'm not sure there's really any striker in the Championship who put through 1-on-1 against a decent Championship goalkeeper. You kind of actually think that most of them probably won't score. Keepers are crap.
It's crap though, isn't it? I mean, what do strikers do? They probably practice every day in training, scoring from the edge of the box where there's no defenders and you've just got the goalkeeper to beat. And that was the thing about the first one for me, is that Che Adams didn't look like he had the faintest idea what he was doing there. He should have known, what's my finish from this side of the box, with the goalkeeper where he is. Whether you switch it onto your left foot, whether you curl it round, whether you drill it or whatever. He just looked like he was like, oh my God, rabbit in the headlights. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll try and side foot it at the near post, which is the worst thing you can do, because if he goes far post, it might get parried out to someone. It was just awful. And actually, I thought that was worse than the open goal, to be honest, because, at least that came to him fairly quickly and he just had to hit it. But it's terrible. Don't get me wrong. But the first one, you practice that every day. So what on earth are you doing having no idea what to do in that scenario? Ran over.
Yeah, I still find it staggering that we're continually seeing all these. There were obviously new links came out this week that that Wolves are sniffing around for next season. Why? What on earth are they seeing here? That this is the guy that's gonna. Wolves are what? Are they in the top half? I think they are, aren't they? Possibly, just about.
Yeah.
What? Take them to the next level.
How is he the guy that's taking them to Europa League qualification? Mental. But hey ho.
Just a quick word on the back four, Alfie. Slightly different back four with Jack Stevens obviously coming in for Jan Bednarek. That great tackle from Stevens, where I think, to be fair, it came off the striker's knee, didn't it? His first touch wasn't great, but a really good tackle. And then the return of the diagonal balls from Harbour Bellis as well. So there were some positives around that back four, aside from the goal that they conceded.
Yeah, that was as quick as I've ever seen Jack Stevens move as well, to be fair. It was a good bit of defending. He had a good game. I thought James Bree had another good game as well. And like you say, Taylor and Cour were fine in parts. You didn't agree with that, Glen? You didn't agree that James Bree?
I thought James Bree was an absolute liability in the first half. He did all right in the second.
They were targeting him, though, weren't they? You look at the team sheet and you go, we're going to target that side.
It's going to be an interesting decision for Russell Martin tomorrow anyway, because obviously he will have Jan Bednarek back to fitness. He's confirmed that. He won't want to drop Jack Stevens. Ryan Manning will be fit as well. So, does he do something completely rogue and switch up the formation, try and surprise like he did against Leeds all that time ago after a little bit of a bad run? I guess we'll see, but I suppose we probably should chat about Ipswich now.